At least 126 people have been killed and dozens more injured after a magnitude 6.8 earthquake hit China's Xizang autonomous region. The quake struck a remote area known in the West as Tibet. President Xi Jinping has ordered all-out rescue efforts to try to minimize the casualties.
The epicenter was around 80 kilometers north of the world's highest mountain, Mount Chomolungma, also known as Everest. Dozens of aftershocks were felt, including in neighboring Nepal.
Yes, so I've been to Dingri County a couple of times, and I'd have to say that most of the affected areas are actually in rural parts of the plateau. So these are isolated villages. They're far apart from one another. They're far apart from the county seat, far apart from any major city, with very limited roads connecting them. And now many of these roads may have been damaged or completely destroyed. Communication lines may have been cut off. So one of the major challenges is to get to these places. Another thing is distributing supplies. Just distributing relief goods to these isolated villages is especially challenging, especially given the rugged terrain and the high altitude winter conditions. Now, cold is another concern because, like we said, this is a high altitude region. Average elevation in the affected areas is more than 4,300 meters above sea level. And with winter underway, temperatures at night may drop to well below minus 15 degrees Celsius. So keeping these people warm and ensuring that they have access to enough food and enough water and shelter and other essential supplies is extremely critical. Chinese President Xi Jinping has ordered an all-out effort to reduce casualties and to ensure the safety of those who survive. Now, West China Hospital, which is located here in Chengdu City, is one of the biggest hospitals in all of Western China. They mobilized a team of medical experts consisting of experts in neurosurgery, chest surgery, trauma, emergency care, and the latest information that I got from members of the medical team is that they arrived in Lhasa about 3 hours ago, and now they're on their way to Shikaze region to provide much needed medical assistance. Now, on a slightly more hopeful note is that many of the housing structures in the affected areas are actually 1 to 2 story buildings, so they might not be that kind of high-rise apartments that we typically see in big cities. So this means that it might be easier for rescue workers to be able to move faster to locate survivors, and they're indeed racing against the clock. And I do want to bring in Dr. Wang Tun, who's with the Institute of Care Life here in Chengdu City, because the earthquake this morning has actually successfully triggered your alert system. So tell us more about that.
Okay, this earthquake has triggered the earthquake alert early warning system, and millions of people received the alert through television, cell phone, and for many schools, loudspeakers. So they have seconds to tens of seconds of time for evacuation.
Right. So I think most of us right now are quite worried about aftershocks in the region. Right. What's your expertise on that? How likely are aftershocks to be able to cause more damages?
Okay, up to now, the earthquake is a main shock aftershock type earthquake, which means after the main shock of magnitude 6.8 earthquake, there are more than 40 aftershocks. With the maximum aftershock magnitude 4.3 or so. So we expect that there are many more aftershocks afterwards, which is very similar to the case of 2015 Nepal earthquake, which is very nearby to today's earthquake. So for that earthquake of magnitude 8.1, the aftershock takes more than 1 month.
Right. And what about other secondary disasters? You also talked about landslides being able to cause more.
Yes, because these are the high mountain area, so the landslide would be alert for triggered by the earthquake or the aftershocks.
Okay, and what's your advice? Just very quickly, one sentence to the local community.
Okay, to keep warm and to keep away from the landslides and so on.
Right. So thank you so much, Dr. Wang, for joining our show. And that's all from us. Back to you in the studio.